newfangled Wi-Fi works.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. All right, so we definitely need a sound check and a check of every kind. We're on new Wi-Fi. We're at my house. It's very bright out. We rigged up an umbrella here for a little shade for the phone so we can actually see the screen. We'll see how long that lasts. In the direct sun, it's always a disaster. Kenny Anderson, what's up, dude? All right. All right. Sound check, please. Who's on? Kim is our babysitter today. Kimberly, hello, how are you? When you guys hop on, just let us know where you're watching from. Riley, we appreciate that. Nice weather. It's so bright and crazy here.
It is really nice, though.
Yeah.
Everyone says
Mary's
that
hiding
it's
over
like
here.
super hot, but the hot is actually nice. There is a little bit of a breeze. It's not too bad. But we do know that across the country, it's extreme heat in some places. So
I mean, for here, this is hot for here.
yeah.
We don't, typically. Kim, Windsor, Ontario, how are you? Kirk, what's happening? Dennis, Michigan. What's going on in Michigan? What's the weather doing there right now? Is it hot like everywhere else? Joining you from our 15D in Lincoln, Nebraska. Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
Dan, Charlie, Spokane, Washington. Heat wave here in Iowa. Yeah, here it's fairly heat wave-ish here too. But I think it's like 90 something, low 90s today, which for us, we haven't had any of that. It's been, crap rain since April 1st, and then all of a sudden now it's, we had 1 week of nice weather, and then now it's in the 90s. So, 90 plus. Hello from HQ, and it's hot in Indiana. Chet, Donna. All right, everybody, good to see you guys. Yeah, we're finally getting some decent weather. It is so the trouble we have when we do the live outside in the bright sun, the phone does that self-protect thing where it shuts down. So we did rig this umbrella, which you can see there. It's not installed yet.
But it does actually,
it is
provides
working.
Like good,
we're sort of hiding underneath it.
Good.
Yep.
Shade. Ben has his swim spot at like 100 degrees.
Yep.
Which normally would be amazing.
It's unnecessary today.
Yes, yeah.
It's
so
unnecessary
I'm
today.
staying in the shade to get as much non-sun as possible.
Awesome. All right. If I had thought about it, I would have turned it down. Beaver Creek, Ohio, Debbie. All right, Cody, Jan, Dustin, Kentucky. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
We have 30 people on there from all over the place. Rachel Holmes. So good to see you.
Yeah.
So good to see you. All right. Very cool. Damien. Oh my God. Awesome.
This is awesome.
Magnum.
We miss you guys.
The mustache. We're not sure what's going on with the mustache. I'm not quite ready to let it go. I've never done it before. It's a thing. I get made fun of every single day. Lauren, no splashing in the ears. Yep.
Yes, please don't.
Jan, Hollywood MD. Does that say MD? Yeah. Yep.
Maryland, yeah.
Yeah, this is the best the phone has ever been in the sun,
Good, yeah.
for sure. So the umbrella is the trick. So this umbrella is I actually don't know what it is, but my mother got it, and it didn't have a base or anything. So it's like half an umbrella. So I'll point this up so you can see it. Actually, let me turn this around. Okay, so as you can see, it's like, oh, there's the sun. We don't need that. So it's half an umbrella, and it sort of doesn't do it justice to look at it like that, but you can see there, it's literally half an umbrella, but there was no stand, so she didn't quite know what to do with it. And I'm sure you can get a base, so if she sees this and wants it back, I will, but now I want it. So now that we've done this, and it's awesome. All right, Scott said keep the stash. See, I sort of like it. I get made fun of a lot, Scott, but I sort of like it, so I don't know. Michigan, East Texas, Indiana, Kim, awesome, very cool. So, but anyway, I don't have, I'm going to show, because you guys know we're full transparent here. See those wheels? That's how I got the umbrella to stand up. Those are 1986 Honda three-wheeler tires, because I'm old school like that, and I've got a couple of those. And we just stacked them up and stuck the pole right in the middle, and that's it.
It's working. So.
It's working great, and that's it. It's not going to be the permanent install. I'm going to come up with something cool that I don't have to drill a hole in the deck or anything like that. And I'm sort of liking it. Now that I have this umbrella, I have to have it. So, Mom, if you need another one, I'll just buy you another one, and do the same thing for you that I figure out here to mount it.
And it's fitting that we put it up today because
Absolutely.
This is one of the things that we wanted to talk about. Maybe some landscaping or yard ideas that will help provide some shade or adding some cool to your swim spa when it's so hot. And you know, we realize we live in Connecticut, it doesn't get as hot as like Arizona or Texas. But it is particularly hot this week, so we can commiserate with you, although I love this. This is like, I love this weather. But an umbrella, like a 360 umbrella that rotates, is really great.
They make them that tilt. They make all kinds of things.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers who will use like those sun sails, which we've talked about before in previous Facebook Lives, and people have made them retractable. So sometimes you might want to have sun and kind of sit in the sun in your swim spa, but other times you might want to have some shade, or you want to be covered. And so the sun sails, you can put them, you know, they can be detractable, so that works really well for both situations.
Detractable or retractable?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Kim?
Can we get a ruling on this, Kim? Detractable or retractable? Maybe they both work. I'm not sure. But, so, like, for us, the sunshade, the sun sails, I love those. Love the way they look. But we would be taking them up and down all the time because Beth wants full sun, and I need to hide from the sun because of my exceptionally white skin and how many pounds of flesh I've had cut off in the last 2 years from sun damage. So we're not trying to do that. So right now I'm liking this, and I will come up with something for
nice.
that. It is awesome. Yeah. So, Mom, 10 out of 10 on that. It was awesome, even though I rigged it up with old three-wheeler wheels.
I also saw a really great idea. I was telling Ben, just when I was scrolling today in MasterSpas owners group, someone got this like a small UV protecting umbrella that had
was
like
this big.
not a Velcro, a like suction.
Yeah.
And it was small, like
panel.
Maybe the umbrella was this big, but they were having trouble seeing their screen in the sun, which just like your phone, it kind of like it's not easy to see in the sun. And I just thought that was a really great idea. And they commented that it worked really well. I think they said they got it on Amazon.
It was the cutest mini umbrella you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But definitely perfect for something like that.
Okay, we've got a couple questions here already.
All right.
So here we go. Let me back up. All right. If I have the spa set to 90, should I get it up to 100 degrees? Dennis, were you one of the questions that got emailed in? I feel like that same question was, no, by all means, don't. You don't need to change it. If you like 90 in the summertime, run it, man. You can't hurt a thing with that. In fact, the water is easier to take care of the colder it is. Okay? We're going to get into that again when we hit those questions. But, here we're in Washington, D.C. I love Washington, Lisa. All right, keep the stash. Okay, now we're caught up. One more. The heat is causing cloudy, greenish water. Okay.
I don't think it's the heat.
I don't think it's the heat either, Deb. So, although if your water is warmer, so if you lived someplace and your water was warming up as a result of, sunlight and during the day, and it was getting up to 100 degrees, then from there, it is possible that warmer water can require more care and maintenance, so your regularly scheduled program may not be enough. But it's definitely, I guess that's a roundabout way of saying that it's the heat that's causing it. But if the water temperature is higher, it could require more care and maintenance. But the heat won't cause cause anything other than water tends to need more maintenance the warmer it is. Let's see, Toledo, Ohio. I wish I could, Charlie said, I wish I could share a pic of how I rigged my umbrella stand. Charlie, you can always send it in on a message because that's interesting. and I'm certainly curious after you kind of foreplay it like that. All right, let's see. Let me make sure I'm caught up. Got quite a few people on here. South Texas. I know it's warm there. My issue is the hot tub gets up to 100 degrees by itself. What you got to do, Dennis, is bleed off that heat at night. So you want to roll up a towel, and it's counterintuitive because we always close and seal hot tubs and swim spas. What you want to do is roll up a towel or a pool noodle, and you can leave one cover cracked, and it'll bleed that heat out and cool off overnight. That's the best trick for that, or shade. Someone did send a message in or a question in that they were completely covered. So I'm getting text here. I did not go on Do Not Disturb. So on that, you would just want to let that heat bleed out overnight when it does cool off. Okay, that's the trick there. Seems, weird to not have it secured, but that's what works.
And
Okay.
sometimes, I mean, we've said this in past summers before. Some people, you may just need to put some bags of ice in to get that water cool. And it's just because of how well these are insulated, which in the wintertime is really amazing, but in the summertime it's just going to really retain all of that heat. So you may need to throw some ice in, either bags of ice or make like some gallon jugs
yeah,
into
freeze.
ice and just throw them in to cool that water initially, and then use that, that crack open of the cover to get it cooler at
or
night.
depending the water temperature, you can always bail out a little water and put the hose back in and take the edge off there. Jan, for after this topic, I sent in a question about maintenance of the access cover foam part. Can something help to mitigate the weight issue? I don't. It's a good question, Jan. I'll have to find out, and we'll get back to you on that. So I don't know, because I don't have an access cover. So I obviously know about them and have seen plenty of them, but I've never actually worked with one. Whereas these covers, you can take the foam out, dry things out, flip them over. Like a mattress, you flip them over every year. Although these, I just put these on. These are the new Sunbrella material. They're so light and so awesome. I had the vinyl ones here, and we just switched to these, and they are pretty awesome, I have to say. And that material is really, really nice too. So, but Jan, send a message in, and we can get back to you and see what the maintenance is on that. I don't know off the top of my head, but we will find out for you. Okay. What is causing the temperature to go up to that height when the outside temp is in the 80 or low 90s? Direct sunlight can do that, Dennis. So direct sunlight, you're cooking like an oven, and that insulation is just really, really insulated. And if it wasn't that way, the winter would be terribly expensive. So it's just, but if it is only 80 or low 90s at nighttime, should cool off a little bit, and then obviously not have direct sunlight. And when you crack that cover, just, like 3, 4, 5 inches max, and it'll bleed that heat out overnight. Let's see. Okay. Chris, I was told my hot tub has to be set to a minimum of 96 degrees or the filters won't run. Nope, that's not true.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that if you have a circ pump and you turn it down more than 3 degrees, the circ pump doesn't run, but your programmable filter cycles will still cycle whenever you set them to, regardless of the temperature. That is not quite correct, right? Yeah. No, I don't think that's correct.
Definitely not just because it's 96 degrees.
Yeah, no, that definitely not. Because you can run a swim spa and it's the same pack, and you can run anything you want. The hot tub in the warehouse
is 102, and they cycle normal. Like we have them.
Yeah, regardless of the heat setting,
right.
the filter cycles will run when they're supposed to by time. Let's see. If you have a circ pump, if you go down more than 3 degrees, so if you were at 101 and turned it down to 96, you will shut that circ pump off until it gets down to that temperature or within range of it, and then the circ pump kicks back on. So it just depends what you have there.
And that's only true prior to the past year, because now the circ pump is different.
Let's see. So Andrea said, I've been venting my Trainer 15 here in Texas, and so far my water has stayed at 83. It works.
Awesome, yeah.
It does work. Even and that's Texas, guys. So it does work. I know if you haven't done it before, seems like it's funky, but that comment right there, Andrea, you're amazing. Thank you. It works. It works. And just vent it every night, and it'll maintain, and it'll be fine. Okay. Brian, do you have a Trex deck color that is an exact match to the gray cabinet color? Brian, so what you see here, and I will shine down so you can see it. Oh,
Nope.
let's see if you can see that. I hope you can see the contrast between the deck and the side of the swim spa. I'm in the swim spa, so it's tough for me to show you that. But this is off the shelf. It's not Trex brand. It's the off the shelf, like the PVC coated in stock deck at Home Depot, and it is damn close. So close that I was thrilled with it. Right off the shelf, not a special order, anything.
Oh, yeah,
It's really, really sharp. If you want to, Brian, send a message in, and then I can attach a photo of it. I have a photo that I'm standing back there with the two right next to each other, and I'm happy to send that to you. But it's very close. It's definitely the closest I've ever seen, and it was just, as luck would have it, it was right on the shelf at Home Depot. All right, let's see. Our 15D was made in late winter, early spring, and gets delivered Friday. How likely is it, hang on, that our cover is a Sunbrella one? 100%.
100%, yeah.
Jim, 100% you are Sunbrella.
Yeah.
I feel like the Sunbrella started like half an hour after I got mine 2.5 years ago. That's an exaggeration, but it's been, you're way good, way good. Okay. Dennis, I have a pure filter system that runs continuously and you can't set a filter schedule. So I'm assuming you have a circulation pump, and you can set a filter cycle on a circ pump tub. You can, like on this swim spa has a circ pump, and my filter cycles are turned all the way down to 15 minutes. You can't shut them off, it turns out, at least on this Challenger. And so I have it running 15 minutes, 2 times a day. That's the minimum filter cycles because I have a circ pump. But when I turn this down 3 degrees, then the circ pump shuts off. So if someone asked you, if that conversation went, what is your hot tub or swim spa set at? And you said 100 or 101 or 2 or 3 or 4, and you said, I want to turn it to 96, and they said, well, the filter won't run if you do that. Well, that was correct technically, but it's not the number, it's the number of degrees below where it's set at is what dictates that. So once you cool it down to 96, that circ pump will run right back on. Okay?
Yeah.
So maybe the context of that conversation was what caused the confusion. All right, but I assure you it will run. Let me answer this. Oh, the questions are firing away here, Mary.
Yeah.
I need to hit the see more. There we go. Debbie, I was told by the company that sells chemicals to add chlorine and run the jets to try to clear up the cloudy and green colored water. I have been doing this over a period of hours. How much chlorine do you think is going to take to settle this problem?
Oh.
Okay, so what you got to do is you need to get good test strips and get in there. You need to fix alkalinity first, then pH, then chlorine. So it's not just a chlorine problem. You have to adjust the other two first. So if your alkalinity is off or your pH is super low, that can happen. And if you could put all the chlorine in the world in there, if your pH is down low, it's never going to fix. So grab your test strips.
And you don't, you want to give, if it was low chlorine, let's say your test strip showed up no chlorine, you want to put in a certain amount and then wait till tomorrow.
Right.
It's not going to, immediately turn clear. You need to let it circulate and let the chlorine do its job.
For sure.
But if you do, like Ben said, you want to take that test strip and see.
You want to make sure.
Check the alkalinity and pH first. If those are perfect,
because if
then,
right.
and you have no chlorine, then you need chlorine.
Right. Exactly. Okay. But you know what? It is frustrating especially when you're newer at this, when you're waiting for the water to correct, and it seems like it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
We do understand that. I'm just adjusting those feet in there so I can make sure we're in the shade. It's never fast enough, and we do understand that personally because it's never fast enough. You're not alone. Let's see. We have a hot tub. How long does it need to be vented? Through the night or a couple of hours? I would just go Kim,
night.
I would just go through the night.
Yeah.
Because in the summertime, even if it got down to temperature at 3 in the morning, and wherever you had it set, and it cooled back down to that number, even if it was 3 in the morning, the cost of heating in the summertime is so low. Just vent it overnight and check it in the morning. I wouldn't do just a couple hours. That's just long enough to make you go bananas. Okay, let's see. I know what one that was. I think it was Island Mist or something like that. Thank you.
I'm not sure.
Oh, was that the little mini?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the little mini. Okay. Oh, for the Trex deck color. Christine, I need more guys. I need more context in some of these comments. So for Trex deck color, this isn't Trex. This is off the shelf. Home Depot brand, PVC coated, the gray, and it matches our graphite. Really awesome. All right. Jim said, "Yay! You are 100% Sunbrella, broski. You're gonna love it. It's awesome. I don't know why it took me so long to get it, but it did, and it's awesome. It's so light. I'd go lighter color because it gets hot. They all get hot, Christine, for sure. I mean, this deck definitely gets hot. Some of it's shady. If you can see behind, like I have there's an overhang, and then there's a breezeway. Like that's my garage right there. So there's a breezeway, and that is the door to the garage. So we have quite a bit of shade all the way around, and if it's pouring rain, you can, we did that with this so you could walk and not have to get in the wet. So if it's raining, we can go out here and not get wet. It's pretty cool. But but it also gives shade. But on the top deck over here, it's hot in the summertime. That deck is hot for sure. You want to be in flip-flops. Let's see. Tracy, I finally made it to my first live with you from Oregon. Love you too. I love that.
Yay,
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Sep, what is Sunbrella? It's just the material that is wrapped, that the cover is wrapped in. They used to use like a vinyl, like an old school hot tub. We'll have a vinyl, material on that cover, and this is Sunbrella.
It's kind of like a canvas
fabric. Like
outdoor
a canvas
fabric material.
Yeah, and it's really sharp and it's really light. My hot tub leaks blue water. I had my pool guy check it out, and he hasn't got a clue.
That would be like call a service.
Blue,
call your service department.
Yeah, Sherry, I'm not sure what you mean with the blue water. I don't know. But definitely call a spa dealer. Call your spa dealer. Have them come out. They'll get that wrapped up. They'll figure it out. Sherry, can you show the cover that you started with? I got on just at the last few seconds. It was Sherry. It was the same cover that's on there now. Just had that vinyl material on it rather than the new Sunbrella. The Sunbrella has been around for about 2 years now, I think. Right?
Yeah.
It's about 2 years. So if you've purchased in the last 2 years, that should be the only thing you know. Excuse me. And I will tell you, it's the only thing you want to know.
And Ben doesn't have his old covers anymore.
It's gone. It's gone. I took it to the dump. If you are wondering what you do with an old swim spot cover, which is very large, you put it in the back of a truck and you take it to the dump. And they charged me $10 for that. It was awesome. Otherwise, normally what I would do is I would put it behind my shed, which is directly behind this camera, and I would leave it there for 10 years until I got a dumpster for a project. And then I would put it in there, even though I could have done it for $10 and gotten rid of it that day. That's how I do things. That's some truth right there, Mary. We're building a deck around our hot tub. Anything we need to know? Any suggestions for cover, securing, and removing? Keely, so I like cover lifters. Cover lifters just make life better. I'm all about them. I don't care if they wear out ever. I don't care if they need replacing. They make life better. It's fantastic addition to any hot tub or swim spas in particular. So I would recommend leaving 2 feet of that hot tub above the deck surface. I know lots of people want to finish the deck to the same height as the top of the hot tub or swim spot because aesthetically it's amazing, which it is, but it also, makes challenges for the covers. If you do want to go flush, then I would suggest the deck at the exact same height as the top of the rim of the hot tub or swim spot, and then you can actually take the locks and strap them to the deck. But then you're dealing with that, and they're not meant to go that way. So I like to leave enough of the hot tub or swim spot up so that you can still run a cover mate, like 3 type, where it doesn't need much clearance below, whereas some cover lifters, like an undermount, you can't use with a deck around situation unless you leave a big wide gap, which doesn't, you don't achieve the look you're looking for anyway. So I like enough of the hot tub or swim spa sticking up above the surface of the deck so that you can run a proper cover lifter, and then you have no issues with that. And then just, of course, leave some sort of access for service, whether it's like a hinge door or a crawl space below or anything like that. All right. How often do I need to replace the ozone lamp? Dennis, you have no lamp in the ozone. This is Corona, so it's electronic.
If he has a circ pump, he might have the master pure.
Okay. So every year?
Yeah.
Every year. Once a year. Although it is fun for anything that's a light based is once a year. And then what is it, every 2 on a Corona?
Oh, I don't know.
You're in 18 months or 24 months on the Corona discharge.
It was more than that.
I think the official replacement time is less than it's going to last, but they do them on time. So, and then the interesting thing about ozone, like the original ozone was all light based, lamp based, and people just thought that once you had it in your hot tub that it works. So we have tons of people come back in. Oh, my tub is 15 years old, and my ozone's been working the whole time. It worked for about a year and a half at the most, and hasn't been working since. So it's time to change that if you have an older one. All right. Constance Lux, Mama. Hello. Umbrella. Awesome. We'll talk about it. I feel like when you see what I did here, you're going to want it back. Andrea, how do you fix low alkalinity if pH is good? Just use the alkalinity up and the pH will be fine. Just get that. Always start alkalinity, then adjust pH, and alkalinity up will be fine. Okay. Usually doesn't take very much either. Any recommendation on a good way to lift the heavy covers? Frank, I like cover lifters. And if they're, real heavy, how old are they? Do they need replacing? These covers are brand new Sunbrella, Challenger 15 covers, same as Trainer 15. And they're awesome, but I still, as light as they are, I still run CoverMates and hydraulic assist, and they're just awesome that way. So I like cover lifters for sure, Frank. Lisa, we haven't gotten our 15 yet. What is the lowest temp we can set it to? 80? 70 on low? I know on high mode you can set it down to 80. On low you might be able to go even colder. 75, but it's cold. 80 should be plenty cold. Let's see. Scott. Thinking of switching from end to end to normal folding cover for 15D. What cover lifters are on your mom's TheraPool? Scott, so my mother runs the same ones that I run here for Beth. They are CoverMate 3 MX. They're metal ones, and they work great. So there are a couple new things out now, but at the time there wasn't, and I like the CoverMate 3, the hydraulic assist. My mother can open up her TheraPool D with 4 fingers. She can, they're so awesome. Between those cover lifters, the size of her swim spa, and the CoverMate 3s, it's awesome. It's awesome, and these are awesome too. Let's see. Sorry, my text got split into 2 texts, Christine. How often do you check and add chlorine? Once a week or every other week? So, Sep, I don't do the Angie method, which is like once a week. I add chlorine a couple times a week, and then shock once, rather than shock each time and then chlorinate once a week. So for my schedule, that works for me. But I put in small amounts of chlorine more frequently. Okay.
But if you are doing the Angie method, you definitely need to use chlorine at least once a week. Yes.
And then you can also refer to the manual, and the manual is somewhere in between the Ben and Angie method. It's probably more similar to the Ben method. It's using chlorine several times a week also, if you look in the manual that comes with your hot tub or swim spa.
We should also get the other questions that came in before.
Grab them. Dennis, Legend 800, nice tub. Brian, another question I have on the challenge. I'll tell you what, this umbrella saved this live because we couldn't see these questions in the sunlight. The phone would shut down. It wouldn't have worked. Ma, this umbrella saved the day. And I have it mounted in old 3-wheeler tires on the deck. I swear to God, that's what it did. I'll show you. Mom? This is not MasterSpas' official recommendation on how to mount that. But it worked in a pinch. So now I'll come up with something more permanent and a little bit more attractive. Beth will not be okay with that. Another question I have on the Challenger 19D. And I can only control the lights from the hot tub section. The light button in the swim spa do nothing. I think that's true. I think it's true that only one side works. I've heard that before. I don't have a dual temp. I'm sure the trainer's the same way, but I think that's true. That we'll have to check on, Brian, but I think that's normal, that the lights work from one side.
Okay. So this question is from Sandy in Arizona, and they are getting the OH code.
Overheat, yeah.
Yep. And the temp is set at 80, and they have a cover with no sun exposure. So try bleeding that heat like we recommended earlier, and you may want to try getting it down initially with some ice. Next question.
Hang on, we've got more here. We'll go every other.
Okay.
So, Katina, is it a good idea to put the swim spa in ground, especially if per HOA, and how more expensive? So, very more expensive, $20,000 more, roughly, because you need a vault, you need a pad inside the vault, a retaining wall, drainage, electrical has to be fed into that vault. The vault has to be larger than the swim spa. So, it's definitely an additional cost for sure.
You'll need decking.
You'll need decking up to it.
Those gaps.
Don't let anybody tell you it's a $10,000 job. It's more than that. I haven't seen one for $10,000 in quite a few years, but it'll be 15, 20 all day long to be done correctly. Okay. If I were doing it, I would do cement. I would do a retaining wall, and make it forever. I know there are probably some dealers around who might do that job and use crushed stone base. And a retaining wall with blocks. Make sure you discuss it and everything in writing. Be careful with that, okay? But it is definitely an additional cost for sure. And most dealers don't do it. You'll need a contractor.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This question is from Lydia in California. On really hot days, my hot tub will shut off at the breaker. Is it the control panel or the breaker box that's making it shut off?
Okay.
Should I try and cover the breaker box?
So this is an interesting question. I actually think it's more of an electrical concern than anything else. When breakers start to wear out, they will trip, but it's interesting that it's only happening in the heat. Now, if you are running, there's a couple of factors in there that could, affect the hot tub or swim spa. If you're running the pumps and the heater on and you have your dip switches set for everything to run, you're going to be heating up that GFCI, and then when it heats up temperature-wise, it's just enough to trip it. That is possible, but I would probably start with the breaker itself. Something's running and starting off hotter, and then when that happens, it's a temperature thing. Whereas there's not going to be a spike in amperage or current or voltage due to the hot tub side from the heat. That won't happen. In fact, you're not going to be running the heater, so it's not going to run as much amperage because you're only running pumps. So my guess on that is I would start with electrical on that for sure. And breakers, they do wear out. Okay. Debbie, okay, back to Cloudy Green Spa. They tested the water and everything was good but chlorine, so I guess it's best to wait till morning and check again. Absolutely. Turn your filtration cycles up. Put them on if you want. Go put it on 24 hours, which you can do if you don't have a circ pump, and then let it filter and filter. Make sure you clean your filters too. Okay. Go ahead, Mary.
Next question is from Gail in South Carolina. Are there any detriments to running your spa at lower temperatures like 92 to 100 in the heat of the summer? Absolutely not. You can go all the way down to 80.
Who asked that?
Gail in South Carolina.
Okay. Yeah, run it down as low as you want. Awesome. Let's see. Dennis, who can I contact in corporate concerning issues with my spa? The retail store I purchased from isn't able to answer. Oh, call customer service. Do you know the number off the top of your head?
I don't.
Look up MasterSpas customer service. Call right in. They'll help you right out. Absolutely, Dennis. No problem.
Next one is from Tom in Washington. Greg in North Carolina. How long after adding chlorine should you keep the cover off, and are there any other chemicals that require leaving the lid off? So 15 to 20 minutes is good for off-gassing, and you also need to do that when you put non-chlorine shock, because you need the air to oxidize that, so another 15 minutes for the non-chlorine shock as well.
Yep. And then I don't know that it's really necessary on the pH or alkalinity adjustments, but I probably do. I probably leave it open. You know, I don't think it's 100% necessary, but I do. Why not? But the shock and the chlorine for sure. Betty, I have the 15D. Is it possible to get the heat higher than 99? Is there a way to override? Yes, there is. So if you have an older 15D with the Balboa pack, you need to go in the pack and hit the dip switch and override that, and it'll go to 104. If you have a newer 15D that has the Gecko pack, you can do it right on the top side, right on the control panel, right on the top, and you can set it there to go above that 99 degrees. That's from California compliance.
Okay, this is the question from Tom in Washington. We own a Twilight 8.25 2024 model and would like to know how long we should run the filters per day to keep the water clean. So the default is obviously more than enough. It's 2 hours twice a day. But if you wanted to bump that up to 3 or 4 hours twice a day, that's completely up to you.
Yep. I don't think we've run, because in the warehouse we've got a 7.2 running. That does not have a circ pump. I think we're running 3 and 3. I think we're running 3 and 3.
Okay.
I think we did 3 and 3. So 6 hours a day on that one. It's perfect. Damien, thumbs up. My mother laughed. Mom, were you laughing at me saying you can't have the umbrella back? Or were you laughing at me saying I'll buy you a new one, or I will give you back? Or were you laughing at the tires that I stuck it in? So it's all funny, and I'm sure I will hear more about it. My MP 29-foot swim spa lights only work from jacuzzi side. Yep, 19. All right, Sue Olson, Northern Missouri, Challenger 15. Sue, good to see you.
This question is from Ron in Florida. Ron, we did talk about this earlier about heat creep. If you set it to 90 and it's going up to 97, it's just because it's hot and it could be in the direct sun, and it's so well insulated, it's going to really retain that heat. So leaving the cover open a little bit with either a rolled up towel or a pool noodle overnight will help that issue.
Yep. All right. Kurt, with EcoPure charge in the Twilight Spa, how does that affect the chlorine level over time for a 2 to 3 day period? Does it bring down faster than without one? Yes. It will get rid of excess chlorine for sure. It is part of what it does.
Yep.
So yes.
And this is our last pre-question from Paul in Ontario. With reducing the temp of the hot tub, will you have to add more or less chemicals to keep it clean? Thank you for doing this. We always try to tune in, but different work schedules. So actually, if you lower the temperature in your hot tub, you may end up using a little bit less. But if you've got a good system going, just keep going with it. The temperature, if you keep it really hot, is when you may need to adjust and put a little bit more chemical. But if you've got something good going, keep it going and make adjustments if you think you need to. But other than that, if you reduce the temp, you should not have to use more or adjust really that much.
Right. Colder water requires less. All right, Kirk. Hi, we have a Balance 8 on order and are very excited. Do you recommend purging spa with awesome before first use? I have never done that, Kirk, so I don't recommend that. A video shows a lot of coming out brand new spas from the manufacturer testing. I've never done it, never had an issue or seen a reason to do it. So that one's up to you, but keep in mind, companies that sell chemicals are going to sell chemicals. Virginia, I have a Trainer 12 and wondered if I can switch to saltwater. So definitely don't want to do that. because we will void your big beautiful warranty. But most of the time, I think people think that the salt is going to be like this magic thing, and you still have to, you're checking other things with test strips. You have to monitor calcium because that becomes important on a salt system. And sodium generators that are aftermarket, if you crank them up, then you're going to get corrosive. So I would rather see you go with a Froggy's, smart chlor system that you just put the floater in the swim spa and set it and forget it. And then you have no concern over any of that stuff. You're not dealing with chemicals, and you're not dealing with salt, not dealing with voided warranties. So try the Froggy's smart chlor system for swim spas. They make a large one for swim spas now. Okay. The stash, love it. Don't encourage me, Joe. Beth hates it. Mary doesn't give a damn. She only works with me. Beth is not a fan. The breaker that feeds the swim controls trip on startup almost every time. I checked inside the propeller cavity, and there are no obstructions, but the propeller turns very stiffly, requires many breaker resets. Robert, call your dealer on that,
yeah,
Robert.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe you got a sticky, you got a sticky motor in there, or maybe an adjustment on there's a belt in there on a propulsion unit. Call your dealer and have them take a look at that. That's not right. Okay, Robert? Let's see. Tires. My mom said tires. Mom, it's perfect. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised at all with that. It was the best thing I could come up with in 5 minutes. It worked like a champ. All right. Dennis, thanks. All right. Okay, thank you. Isn't the Froggy too much for a Trainer 12, Virginia? I don't think so. You can turn it down. Yeah. My mother, okay, everybody, my mother doesn't like the mustache either. Mom, I'm working. All right. Okay. Thanks for doing this and answering my questions, Debbie. Our pleasure. Awesome. Yeah. 42, right on time. Bam.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we will be back in 2 weeks. It is right before July 4th, so we'll probably talk about something holiday-ish, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know,
Kim?
Start thinking.
Kim?
But we will be back, I think that is the 3rd. I believe it's July 3rd. But we plan on having Facebook Live because then the following week we're headed on vacation. So we'll see everybody then. Hope everyone has a great night, and thank you for joining us.
Charlie gave us my signature, see you in 2.
Oh,
awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. See you in 2.
Bye, awesome. Everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one. And everybody enjoy this summertime weather.
Absolutely.
Even if it's hot, still better. All right.
Totally.
Later.